for connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is new realities. I just realized I didn't put up my background this morning. Well, we have to fix that. Anyway, before we get started, um, let's just take a couple minutes to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine brilliant bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your molecules, all your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And allow it to reach into your lungs and your organs, cleansing and energizing and bringing vital life energy. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together. Vigorously rub your hands together to feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure, the motion, the tickling and tingling when you stop, and allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables us to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, it's so good to be here with you this morning. And we're talking about new realities. I had a really fun conversation yesterday about shifting into our highest potentials and how when we talked yesterday about the pregnant void, and when we step into this space of the pregnant void, anything could be possible. And then in this conversation, we were saying, okay, anything can be possible, but within boundaries. So that in itself is a really interesting concept, to be present to the infinite within the constrained. However, it, according to some physicists, literally anything is possible. Like if we could imagine it, it's possible. So we were talking about how it wasn't likely, while we could maybe manifest certain physical manifestations or what we would currently call miracles, while we might be able to manifest certain experiences that are outside the realm of our general sense of possibility, it's probably not likely that we'd be able to sprout wings and fly. And yet that possibility exists, although it may be minutely probable. In other words, not really likely to happen. But then we got to talking about virtual reality and AI. And the thing about the human mind is that we don't make a distinction between what is real and what is vividly imagined. And recognizing that we don't make that distinction, what might we be able to vividly imagine our way into when it comes to the use of virtual reality? And the artificial environments that we're being able to generate more and more readily. Like using AI, with generative AI is able to create these magnificent images. And it's so funny that this is the topic, and today I didn't put up my green screen, so the background here is going in and out, and I think that that's actually, I'm sorry, I'm sure it's really annoying, but outside of that, I think it's pretty appropriate when we're talking about virtual reality and what might be possible. So that's kind of a funny thing. If you can tolerate the visuals here, maybe better to just turn off the visuals and engage in the conversation. But with virtual reality, it's not so different from our current experience of reality in so many ways, because we project our experience. We project our thoughts. We project our interpretations on the world, and that impacts our experience. And so it could be said, and actually I don't know how I think there are some scientists that actually posit that we're living in a hologram. And as we progress with this technology for virtual reality and artificial intelligence, there's probably no limit to the alternate realities that we can create. And so that could be liberating or terrifying, just like pretty much of anything technology is, and then we choose how to apply it. But if we were to put ourselves in circumstances in virtual reality that simulate enlightenment, it makes me wonder what might be possible for the evolution of our consciousness, and what kind of human evolution could occur through that virtual reality experience. So it's a really interesting question and conversation, because in so many ways we exist, I mean, just in so many obvious ways, we exist in a construct. And the construct is this blend of consensus reality and our own reality, where we make our own projections onto whatever it is that's out there, if there is any out there. It gets pretty deep pretty quickly when we engage in these conversations, where the world is shifting so rapidly. Apple just released their newest operating system, and it integrates ChatGPT. So we're going to be able to be interacting with artificial intelligence. We already can through ChatGPT and Gemini, I guess it is in Google, and we do with Siri, etc. But what we're seeing is exponential growth, exponential potential actually becoming real, not just potential, but being realized. That's a great word, realize, being made real. And though some people or lots of people are terrified by the possibilities that AI is going to create, there are wonderful, wonderful ways that we can use AI for positives too. If you've engaged with ChatGPT, it's pretty phenomenal. I was kind of gobsmacked by this. My nephew and I have been exchanging information that we encounter about AI with one another, and that's actually how I found out about uh, ChatGPT being integrated into the latest Apple operating systems. But he told me that he took a photograph of his cupboard and he sent it to ChatGPT asking for recipes. And he said that's where he started making strombolis because ChatGPT had recommended that maybe strombolis would be a great way to be integrating these different ingredients. And so this tool is becoming, or certainly has the potential to, and for so many people, is becoming a deeply integrated part of their lives. I've been using it to have conversations about an upcoming challenge that I'm creating and how to market that, and also creating imagery using ChatGPT that is truly spectacular that I am using in promoting this challenge. And um it's really quite extraordinary. So our reality is changing moment to moment at a pace, I think, probably at least unprecedented in human history. We've had a lot of monumental changes in our evolution, our recorded evolution, and our historical evolution with the industrial age, and then I'm going to say the fossil fuel age, and then the nuclear evolutions. But AI is accelerating things, and computer and the technologies that we're developing are accelerating things to a pace that it's like a whiplash worthy pace. And I think we're just seeing the beginning of that acceleration, that exponential curve of growth and transformation. And where it's going to go, we don't know. But it seems to me that these tools, as virtual reality becomes more immersive, as AI becomes more engaged and engaging, as it is able to become more and more intelligent, and we're able to interact with it more and more, the acceleration just increases and increases. And it's it's extraordinary. I think an indicator to look at around this and how quickly it's changing is that ChatGPT, I don't remember the figures, but ChatGPT engagement exceeded the engagement on Facebook, I think, like in a period of days versus the months, for instance, that it took Facebook to become something that was integrated into the culture. So even the adoption, I don't know the numbers, so go check that for yourself, but the adoption of this technology is unprecedented. And now the integration of it is just barreling along at an extraordinary pace. And it's, we can imagine, already there are intelligent devices. The Internet of Things integrates intelligence and connectivity between all our devices. So when you, like these smart homes where you can tell your phone to turn on and off the lights in your home, or to change the temperature settings for the temperature controls, et cetera, et cetera. So the the lines, especially with virtual reality, and I'm seeing the integration of virtual reality and um, artificial intelligence, the simulation of experience that we're able to create is also growing exponentially. And so we could be living life within one of these simulations pretty readily, um, and not know it. And maybe, maybe that is what's happening. Maybe that's what really, maybe we are in a hologram or a holographic universe, or a simulated universe. They're not the same thing. Sorry, I am short on sleep, so I'm um, a little bit out of it. But I think it's very interesting to imagine how we might use some of these tools for our personal and cultural evolution in in a directed way. And the thing is that there is all kinds of social engineering happening all the time, and it may or may not be in a strategic way, like with the news that we're exposed to, and the advertising that we're exposed to. There's cultural engineering happening with regard to that. But imagine if it were guided conscious engineering. um, that it makes it even a little bit even more scary, I guess, but that could be used for good as well as for ill. Um, it could be used for expansion and awakening as much as it could be used for domination and control. And that's kind of an exciting prospect, because Joe Dispenza is a guy who's doing remarkable things with realities through meditations. He puts on these extraordinary meditation retreats, and people in these retreats and people practicing these deep meditations are able to access potentials that are more in the realm of the improbable to impossible, culturally agreed impossibility, like growing new organs or reversing incurable conditions, and so they're being able to tap into whatever it is that's at the heart of the placebo effect. And it's essentially tapping into that void and pulling out possibility. and utilizing that to manifest, to actually bring the potential into physical form, into manifestation. And so I wonder what might be possible with these virtual realities. I remember reading a story, I think it was Kurt Vonnegut's son, and I could be wrong, but I believe he wrote a book about his experience with schizophrenia. And at one point, I think he either believed he was Jesus or he believed that he had the healing powers of Jesus. And he was so deeply immersed in that reality. Um, he actually healed people, if I recall correctly. Like, there were some miraculous things that happened around his being this presence. And it it does, when he lost those powers, those abilities, when he became sane again. So that's an interesting testament to what we consider sane. It's another whole conversation, but I know this is rambling, but it's because these ideas are formulating, and we're in such an exciting time where all kinds of new potentials are being unleashed. And most of us aren't even aware of it. Maybe I don't know how many of us percentage wise have experienced virtual reality or augmented reality at all. There was a big push for it, and then it got quiet or quieter. But the gaming world is becoming more and more immersive, right? That is virtual reality too, in the gaming world. So I just can't help but wonder what kinds of new real potentials, and then that word becomes something quite curious in that we have to redefine what's real and what's not real. That's always been my deepest question: what's real and what's not real. But what we might be able to bring into our reality, having been trained into a new experience through virtual reality, augmented reality. It kind of blurs the lines, right? Like, we can create new memories, we can create new lives even. And I part of me can imagine us existing within that virtual reality realm, and how it could become very addictive, and how it could also train us into new ways of being that could transform our future for good even. Like, what a concept that maybe these are evolutionary tools, not just tools of a dystopian future, but tools for self-realization, tools for realizing our actual potentials, for transcending certain limitations that then allow us to make a quantum jump in our being. It's kind of a fun thing to think about, I think, to muse about how we might be able, by creating a virtual environment for ourselves, how we might be able to heal ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, by stepping into this other dimension that's an accelerated experience, or an actual experience that then our biology and our consciousness gets tuned to. And when it's tuned to this, we talk about different frequencies all the time. when it's tuned to a different frequency, what might be possible. That kind of potential is so exhilarating to me. I mean, we could put ourselves into environments of potentials where we could be generating ideas that weren't even conceivable without this new conditioning, so to speak, to be able to come up with solutions on a whole different level of perception and experience than we currently are present to. So I just thought it was a fun conversation. I hope you find it as stimulating as I do. And that's it for today. So I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live here each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I invite you to please like, follow, and share Enlightened World Network and me. The links are in the description, and it's always a pleasure and a privilege and fun to have these morning musings together and just inquire and explore what it is to be human. So until next time, so much love to you.